Hello everyone, Ash Pemberton here. I'm going to do a real fast guide to everything you need to know about your Zoom settings to host a webinar or a really successful Zoom meeting with just a standard account. So I'm going to quickly show you some of the settings and some of the functionality and what you need to know to be able to make Zoom work really well for you. So first up, I'm going to turn myself off and just show you this. This is your standard screen when you enter Zoom. If you click on the little settings toggle there, all of the basic options are here. So I'd suggest that you go through each one of these and have a look. That's the basic options. But what I really want to show you are some of the more sophisticated and more hidden ones. So here is security. This is a really nice feature for you to control your participants in a meeting. So it's basically what they can and can't do. So first of all, let's hit the suspend participants. I don't need to report that to Zoom, and I'm going to suspend everyone. So what that does is, if I go back into my security account, it locks your meeting. Lock meeting means that no one else can join. So let's take that off. It hides profile pictures. I don't want that. I want people to show their profile pictures like this. So I'm going to re-enable that. It automatically takes away all the privileges for your participants, so they can't share their screen. I want them to. They can't contribute to the chat. They can't rename themselves. They can't unmute themselves, and they can't start their video. So as you can see, I'm a pretty nice host and I let everybody do everything, but should you want to stop them, that's where you do it, in the security tab here. Next up is participants. When you're hosting a meeting, I recommend that you keep the participants tab open. It's a really handy way for you to see who's in and for you at one touch to be able to control individual participants. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to join my own meeting as test participants. Ask me to select boats. That's a boat. That's a boat. That's a boat. Okay, verify and join my own meeting, and my name will be test participant. So that noise, ding ding, only the host gets to hear that. I've put that into one of my settings. This is what my participant gets to see. Please wait, and a host will let you in soon. That then appears, everyone that's in the waiting room then appears in the top tab of the participants, and it's down to the host to admit the participant one by one. That has to be done individually. So currently the noise will draw your attention to it, but if you didn't have that participants tab open, it's very easy to miss people waiting to get into your meeting. So that's my advice. Same with the chat. It works exactly the same way. If you want to be able to see and participate in the chats, then keep that chat window open, and same as the participants, you just toggle it. You toggle it to display it on the side of your screen. Next up is polls. Now I have preloaded a poll, and you can do that in your advanced settings, but this very quickly allows you to host a poll and launch it. So all of these questions have been pre-made in the settings, in the advanced settings of Zoom. So my key question is, I always talk about the pitch, the presentation and the performance, the 3 Ps of presenting. And which one is your biggest strength is a question that I'm interested in asking my audience. So I'd very quickly launch that poll. And now if I go back to my test participant window, so this is it, comes up on the screen, which one is your biggest strength? This test participant thinks that the presentation is theirs. They submit their answer, and obviously I can see that in real time appear. I can end the poll and I can share my results. So again, going back to the test participant, they now get to see the results of the poll, which obviously only one person voted in. And they can close it and rejoin the meeting again. So that's a really nice poll, and what could be quite nice is to launch this poll at the start of our presentation, and then if you're presenting some information which you think might be changing the perceptions or the minds of your audience, you can relaunch that poll at the end. So that's just a nice way to see if your presentation has actually had an effect on your audience. Okay, next up is record. We have options to record on this computer, which I do a lot. I like to have access to it, or to the cloud. If you do choose to record to the cloud, there are some fantastic options, and I want to show you these. So I've mentioned it a couple of times. Zoom keep all their advanced settings online. They're not part of the Zoom controller. You only get the basic settings here. And when you want to go to more advanced settings, you click that tab and it actually launches a window, and you will have to log in to Zoom, and that's where you get all of these really advanced settings. What I wanted to tell you was in settings and in recording, there's these really nice settings, and I want to draw your attention to these. So we are recording the active speaker with a shared screen. We could record the gallery view with a shared screen. So if I'm presenting or I'm sharing my screen, do you want a picture of the speaker, or do you want a picture of the gallery? So I've chosen the speaker, but this is the one that I love. Record active speaker, gallery view and shared screen separately. So I'm going to get individual video files of my speaker, the gallery and my shared screen, so that I can then take them into post-production and produce like a really nice summary and edit down a summary of my meeting. So that's a really handy setting. I'm also going to record an audio only version of that file. Again, another useful thing to have in post-production. So some pretty nice settings in there. Next up, I'm going to go to share screen after, but next up is a breakout room. I've enabled this in my advanced settings. I'm sure most of you are fairly familiar with what a breakout room is, but what it allows you to do is put all your participants into individual rooms. So you could choose, say, 5 different rooms. If you had 10 participants, you could put 2 in each. You can either assign them into those rooms manually, or you could let your participants choose their room, and then you can create and name your rooms. Really nice feature. You can time them. Let me show you. You can time how long people go into the rooms for. You can give them a countdown. So again, really nice functionality there from Zoom's breakout rooms. One thing that I would like us presenters to do is use this functionality here. This is raise hand. So rather than talking over each other, when you've got something to say, please raise your hand, and then it will flag it onto the little thumbnail windows of everyone that's in the meeting, and then the presenter will know, oh, Ash Pemberton's got a question. And in fact, let me now just lower my hand because I no longer have a question. So what that allows the meeting to have is like more of a seamless introduction and ins and outs of different speakers, rather than shouting on each other over each other. Because when there's a delay and you try to interrupt a speaker, it clashes. I'm sure we've all heard that, where people talk over each other for 2 seconds and then both go silent, and then someone has to say, oh, you go first. So it's really a really handy way to avoid that. If you are a presenter and you want to speak over the top of someone, raise your hand. It's just a nicer way of doing it. Finally, share screen. Now, I do a lot of this. So you can see here under the basic tab, we have the option to share any window or share the entire screen. That's a pretty nice way of doing it. But if you don't want people to see all of your content, everything that's going on in your screen, then just share a window, or you can share your phone, or you can share a whiteboard. A whiteboard allows everyone to just type in their ideas. But this is one that I use a lot, PowerPoint as a virtual background. I absolutely love this, and I've made other videos on it. So let me just very quickly show you how we would do this. So desktop, into my make virtual valuable Ash's slides. So I'm now going to just open my PowerPoint presentation, and you can see here that it allows me to toggle through all of my different slides that were in my PowerPoint. And yeah, that's a really nice functionality from Zoom there. The other thing that I use a lot that I wanted to point out to you was this one here. Just sharing music or computer sound, I love. So if I'm hosting a meeting and I'm waiting for people to join, or we're having like an intermission, then I will just share my computer sound. I can then open my Spotify account, and whatever I play, in this case, it plays it really good quality to everybody in the meeting, and it does that because I am sharing my screen, but I'm actually only sharing the computer sound. So once I stop sharing, the sound will stop sharing too. So that's the essence of the Zoom meeting controls. I hope you found that really useful, and that it's going to aid us to have some pretty seamless meetings and be able to facilitate and participate and present at the same time. Okay, thanks for listening.